busting my balls, Billy, okay?
I can already tell that I don't like you.
Fuck you, busting my balls.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
It might be your first ball job.
Yeah, of course.
How long did it take for the guy to come?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bustin' Balls. I'm your host, Eric Pennell. OW20 is my squirt. I do man shit, and it's 100% wide-own podcast. How you guys doing out there, huh? You guys putting titty nipples in your mouth? You getting your money? Your old lady staying off your back? Your goddamn job staying off your back? If you own your own company, you getting your money? They paying you? They invoicing you right? They're not complaining? They're not trying to lawsuit you? You know, shit like that, you know? How's everything going with you, man? The weather's still good with your at? Because I'll tell you what, man, in Chicagoland right here, I'm in Illinois, and just to be clear, I'm not in Chicago no more. I haven't lived in the city of Chicago. I have not owned a house in the city of Chicago in over 4 years now. And we live out in the cornfields and, where there's safety at, where you still got to grip a gun, though. I tell you that much. You know, I don't know where you live at, man, but I feel like I always got to keep like a gun near or something like that because it feels like things are more dangerous now than ever. I mean, probably not. Probably not. I'm sure danger was in 1930 and the 1830s. You know, I mean, I guess I'm a little coddled. I guess, yeah. I don't know. You watch Yellowstone or anything like that, where they do the 1923 or the 18 whatever, and somebody on a horse comes over the ridge and stuff, or you got some Indians out there and or natives, the natives for the pussies out there. Look, I don't even know what you call them anymore. You know, I mean, the words for everything changes. How it's like, how dare you? How dare you? But I'm sure it was more dangerous then. But it feels dangerous now. Like, dude, honestly, maybe it's my age. I don't even want to go to cities anymore. Like, look, I get it. There's restaurants, there's bars, there's games, there's football, there's basketball, there's baseball. You know what I'm saying? I guess there's culture, you know, but it just seems like it's more trouble than what it's worth. You know what I'm saying? Where you just go, do I really need it? Do I really need it? That's, and again, I don't want to go to Applebee's either. I don't even know if Applebee's are still around, but I mean, I don't even really want to do that either. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about right now. Let's get right into it, man, huh? Let's talk about how the NFL, man, has some problems. The only thing about having a 17-game, season for the NFL is injuries. Injuries is going to be an issue. I mean, think about it. When the NFL had like 12 games, 14 games, 16 games. I mean, dude, you had way less games and way less injury. I mean, dude, these guys just had to do it for this amount of time. 17 games, and it sounds like they want to move it to like 18 games. Last I heard, I thought they wanted to try getting more games out of this thing. You're gonna have injuries, man. Your stars are gonna get banged up. Dude, Godwin looks like he dislocated his ankle. I didn't even know you could dislocate an ankle. I just thought that just broke. He's getting surgery on that. Chris Godwin's out for the season. Mike Evans was holding on to that hamstring like that wasn't going to be okay next week. You know, so old Baker Mayfield out there, Mr. Fantasy, you know, I think Baker's like number 2, maybe number 3 best fantasy quarterback this year. Guess what? He just lost 2 of his best receivers in the league in one game, dude. In one game. And now he's just throwing it to a tight end that barely even know who he is. And he's got a stack of running backs, but now it's like, who do you go get? You know, I mean, you know what, man? It ain't going to happen. But, there's teams like the New Orleans Saints. They're done. They need to unload their players. Chris Olave, you need to trade that guy. Some of their other players, Kamara, you need to trade that guy. Start planning for the future. Derek Carr, this ain't working out for him. He's hurt, obviously, right now, too. But and that coach, for the New Orleans Saints, he better start packing his bags. He's done. Okay, you're done. They might as well start rebuilding right now. The Cleveland Browns, my team, which I'm not holding on to them very long after this. I tell you what, I'm about to turn into a freaking full-time Bears fan. I've always thought the Bears were like my second team since I've been in Chicagoland in Chicago since 2005. And, I've always wanted them to win. I don't ever want them to lose. I criticize them. They do just as many knucklehead things as the Cleveland Browns do. But, dude, the Saints need to unload. The Browns need to unload. I'm not saying trade Myles Garrett, but look, Deshaun Watson just popped his Achilles or tore his Achilles. And then dude, Deshaun Watson was only playing because it was the worst quarterback acquisition. Am I saying that acquisition? Ever. in the NFL. I mean, they basically paid this guy $250 million, more than that. They paid him $237 million, 3 draft picks, and a couple other things I'm sure Texans got out of it. I think they got more than 3 first-round draft picks. And it was a total flop. It's been a total waste. It was a terrible experiment. It did not work out. Now he's hurt with an Achilles. And when he got hurt, the crowd cheered. Well, guess what? Of course the crowd cheered. And all the morning show guys are like, this is deplorable and whatever. And it's like, yeah, it is deplorable. Because any other quarterback would not even have been playing. It's just because the Browns ownership did that terrible deal. And I was happy when they did it, but it didn't work out, man. It was terrible. And in hindsight, a lot of times these overpaying quarterbacks, especially, in certain situations. Look, I'm not saying when you get a rookie and he becomes the next Peyton Manning or something like that, and you got to pay him. That's a different situation. Deshaun Watson was in a different situation. Russell Wilson was in a different situation. It's these guys, man, a lot of times are not worth the squeeze. Daniel Jones, not worth the squeeze. I mean, we could go down a list of quarterbacks where you go, I can't believe that they've done this. But Deshaun Watson going down and the crowd going crazy and actually applauding it, it's because any other quarterback would not have been playing. It's just it was such a bad deal that the Browns ownership was basically putting a pressure on the coaching staff to say, keep playing this guy because we got a lot of money invested, and who knows, maybe he'll kick on. And he wasn't going to kick on. He wasn't going to start playing better. It wasn't going to weld together and play well with the others. And it was hopeless. So when he went down, the crowds applauded because they go, at least we could turn the page on this for right now. And they're going to turn the page on this. There's Deshaun Watson with an Achilles like that. I mean, I would assume he might be able to play next season at the beginning of the season. I don't know. This is week 7 that he did it. Maybe he'll miss a month or so of next season or something like that, and he'll come back about this time next year. I don't know. But teams like the Cleveland Browns, you better go out and get a quarterback. Teams like the Miami Dolphins, you better go out and get a quarterback. I know Tua's saying that he might play this Sunday and he's practicing now. First of all, that quarterback, that coach over there in Miami, that Mike Daniels, he needs to be fired too. You know what I'm saying? He does some knucklehead stuff. I've always defended that guy and said, look, he's got Tua, they got injuries, they got a good squad, he's done well down there. That guy does knucklehead stuff. I don't know if you've seen how they handled the play clock the other day. It was the worst. I mean, it was the worst. It was like if I was handling it and I didn't know what the hell I was doing out there. That guy needs to be fired. They need to draft another quarterback. I know they paid Tua, a bunch of money. You cannot plan for this guy to be around very long. I've been thinking about it lately, where these teams, they get their quarterback and instantly they should be saying, well, we got to get our second quarterback. And I mean being very serious about it, not looking at it like a backup quarterback. I've said it for a couple years now that these teams should be drafting a hotshot quarterback, like a rookie quarterback, every year. They should be drafting it. It should almost be like a must, where it's like, look, we're drafting a rookie quarterback, as high as we can get up there without compromising our team and missing out on opportunities. But these quarterbacks go down so fast. They go down and they're very expensive. And you can't build the rest of the team around it. The Cleveland Browns are screwed right now. That's what I'm saying about unload. I don't want to leave. I don't want Myles Garrett to go anywhere. I don't want to send him to Detroit and let those guys get a Super Bowl. But, dude, you've made such a bad deal that you got to weigh this thing out or something like that. I mean, there's teams like the Saints. They're done. There's teams. Dude, there's a lot of teams right now that they are just done. I mean, done. And it's already week 8. I mean, it's just the way it is. It sucks to say that, but they're done. Miami Dolphins are done. They need to get rid of the Miami Dolphins probably need to get rid of Hill. They need to get rid of him or get rid of Waddle. Get rid of one of them. Get rid of A-Chain. I mean, dude, start unloading. You're going to have to start building for draft capital next year. I mean, dude, Las Vegas Raiders, get rid of Max Crosby or whatever his name is. He's your best player. Get rid of that guy. He's very valuable. You could probably get 2 first rounds for Max Crosby right now. And maybe I'm wrong. You could definitely get a first round for him. And if you're not agreeing to that, you're an idiot. You need to leave this podcast right now. there's a bunch of teams out there. It's just unload. I mean, hell, I wouldn't even say the Dallas Cowboys are at that point, but they're almost at that point. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys they are in bad shape. I mean, and they need to start unloading and just realize that, like, look, this is done this year. It is done. I mean, look, I get it. The Dolphins are in second place in the AFC. But they're 2-4. The Bills are 5-2. They ain't catching them, okay? They're not catching them at all. The Chargers are 3-3. The Chiefs are 6-0. You're not catching them. The Chargers are that was a dude. The Chargers can't even beat Arizona. I think Arizona won last night on the Monday night. That was terrible. And like I said, the Browns are 1-6. Unload, dog. You got this horrible thing right now. You ain't catching nobody. The Titans, they're 1-5. Unload. The Jaguars, 2-5. Unload. You're done. Like, let's be realistic. I get it. It's a long season, but you ain't catching them at all. Okay? The Giants are 2-5. Unload. I mean, I don't know what you unload with the Giants. I assume there's some defense that they can unload or whatever. But, dude, the Rams, 2-4. Get rid of Kupp. Dude, I'll tell you what. For people out there, Kupp's coming back. He's starting to practice now, Cooper Kupp. And look, people love Cooper Kupp. Guess what? He's at the point right now where he can't stay healthy. He still has draft capital. I mean, go get a third round for Cooper Kupp. You got Puka Nacua. He's your future. Get rid of Kupp. Get rid of some of those running backs maybe. I mean, dude, start thinking better. I mean, dude, I tell you what, the 49ers are right on the edge of that. And I know that division is kind of wide open. The Seahawks are at 4-3. The Cardinals are at 3-4. And the 49ers are at 3-4. So, I mean, that division is kind of like up in the air. And I get it. It's like, hey, don't throw it away. But I tell you what, man, the 49ers have a curse on them. I mean, their running back room used to always have a curse in it. I mean, clearly it might still have it. McCaffrey's out. They're saying he ain't coming back for another few more weeks. Mason looked like he was banged up. The other running back, Herrera, or whatever his name is, he stinks. He's not really, I mean, when you're even talking fantasy relevance, obviously Brandon Ayuk, Mr. I hold out and I want traded, then I hold out, and then, I'm going to stay with you guys. This dude just popped I think he did an MCL, ACL also, and he's out for the season. And now they got to pay him a ton of money. See what I'm saying? These guys, it is not worth it to buy these guys sometimes. And I know you go, well, how are you going to, whatever. Trade them. You trade them when they want a ton of money. And you just, dude, just keep building young. Look what they got with Brock Purdy. Look what Brock Purdy does with this Jennings guy. This guy's a nobody. I think they paid him like maybe, I think I heard the deal the other day was $15 million for 3 years or something like that. And, to Jennings. I mean, that's way better money than, dude, Deebo Samuel's right now. Deebo looks like he's been eating a lot of chocolate cake. I don't know if you've seen this dude, and honestly, I guess not this week, but the week before he did okay. But again, he's a ghost out there. Once you pay these guys their money, they turn into ghosts. I mean, that's just what it is, man. And yeah. And dude, Detroit's 5-1. They're killing it. The Bears are 4-2. I mean, that division is up for grabs still, the NFC North. And then you're talking, dude, the Panthers, the Saints, they need to just unload their players. I don't know what the Panthers, who they have to get rid of. I don't know if it's that Deontay Johnson wide receiver that they had from Pittsburgh. I don't know if that's what you do. I don't know if you try getting rid of the rookie wide receiver that with the L word. I don't want to look him up right now, but I don't know if he's the guy, Lacat or something like that. I don't know if he's the guy that you try to go get, or you just try to get rid of Bryce Young and go, here, dude, anybody want this guy for like a 5th rounder? We made a big mistake on him, and we're just trying to flush this turd right now because at least they took him 1st round overall and gave away some draft picks. It's still not worse than a Deshaun Watson, acquisition or whatever. I mean, dude, Deshaun Watson, you had to pay him all that money. At least with Bryce Young, you just realize, like, dude, we gave away a lot of draft capital, which I'm pretty sure they did. And then, but you take the loss that way. Way better position, way better. But these guys need to unload, man. I mean, dude, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who's the biggest knucklehead. Is this damn Lions wide receiver Williams. This guy's suspended again for 2 more games. Like how stupid is this guy? Like, this guy's all talent. and he's just a knucklehead. I mean, just a knucklehead that this guy's out for another 2 games for some, I don't know what they call it anymore. It was worded differently. It's not is it PEDs? Where they're, he's taking some kind of creatine that they don't like, and he ain't supposed to take. And it's like, how do you not know this? This guy's been in the league probably 3 years, and I think he's been suspended twice already for stuff like this. He was suspended for gambling, and he was suspended for this. It's just like, you're dumb. Like, you're not even worth everything like what you think. And then, dude, he didn't even have a game or two until this year. Williams. I got him on my bench for my fantasy team because somebody dropped him and then I scooped him and then he popped. I'm dropping this dude. I don't got no time for you, man. You're dumb. And you don't even put up the fantasy numbers like you want. I'll tell you who put up fantasy numbers. Barkley. My God, did Barkley have a bone to pick with the New York Giants, going back there and doing like 176 something like yards on him or something like that. I don't know if it was all purpose or it was just rushing, but I mean, golly, Barkley ran all up. God, the Giants are so stupid. They are just terrible. They are, dude, I'm so glad the Giants are just terrible and they're no good because they deserve it. All right. They didn't even deserve any of those championships that they had in like 05 and 08 or whatever they won. I can't remember when they won. 5 and 10. Was it 5 and 10? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's the fix was in. I mean, Eli Manning's one of the worst and dumbest quarterbacks I've ever seen out there playing. I mean, he's got a horseshoe up his butt. But yeah, I'm just so glad to see him run all over it. I'll tell you what, man. Finally, St. Brown of Detroit. Amon Ra St. Brown or whatever his name is. Man, he came on also. Derrick Henry. I'll tell you what, I kept Derrick Henry in my league this year. I had to keep 2 keepers, and I had to choose him over some really good running backs, really good players. I had to keep 2 players, and I should have maybe kept Cook, the running back for Buffalo. I didn't keep him. I could have kept Stroud. I could have kept I had a stack. I had a stack of players, and I kept Amon St. Brown, and I kept Derrick Henry. And they're actually both have actually came on. Detroit, for some reason, the first couple games, St. Brown really didn't do much from how I can remember. But, man, has Derrick Henry really done well with Baltimore. I mean, right now, it looks like Baltimore is probably the best team in the NFL right now, I would say, is probably Baltimore. Lamar is probably the MVP as of going into week 8, 2024 is probably the MVP of the league this year. I get it. People could go, no, it's Patrick Mahomes. Maybe. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, if you want to say that fruitcake is going to be the one that's the one, I guess so. I mean, the NFL loves him. I mean, the NFL loves Patrick Mahomes so much that the defenders won't even tackle him. Did you see that play when he acted like he was going out of bounds and he just ran out? Because they don't even want to touch it. Dude, defenders don't even want to touch quarterbacks anymore because they either get penalized and they take a chunk of money out of their pocket, or they get their nose put in it and they're a villain because they put some stank on it. Dude, Patrick Mahomes, I would pancake that dude every time and just take the fines. I would just tell the teams, like, look, I'm pancaking this dude every time and you're just going to have to pay my fines, okay? Otherwise, this guy, I mean, he's walking all over us and nobody's touching him. I mean, it's a fact, all right? And so, yeah, Patrick Mahomes might be, and again, I get how people might even think that Kansas City's the best team in the league. I tell you what's made Kansas City very good. Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is like the running back that they really needed. I mean, Kareem Hunt is like a Tasmanian devil. I mean, that guy is coming through just banging with them. I don't know how he's going to be able to stay healthy in a 17 game, with 17 games total and stuff. And but man, he's what they really needed. Because even with Pacheco before he got hurt and stuff, and Pacheco should be coming back, I would assume. I don't know, maybe another month or so, maybe from here. I'm not sure if that's even right math, but even if he is coming back. And also, I would assume if Kareem Hunt's killing it, that they ain't even going to need him to come running back or anything like that. He could come back maybe in like a month and a half or so towards the end of the last couple games maybe, just to get him fresh for the playoffs. But I get it how some people could say that this Kansas City team is the best team in the league. So it's either And when you're talking AFC, it's definitely probably Baltimore and then Kansas City. I would see that. And then when you're talking like, when you're talking NFC, now it's very difficult because at one point, if you really wanted to be honest, it was Washington and it was Tampa Bay, whether you like it or not. But last night, Tampa Bay had their two main, all-pro wide receivers just get hurt. So then it's like, what do you do now? What do you do now? They're going to have to go out and get Chris Olave, but you can't get Chris Olave from the Saints because aren't they in the same division? They're not going to give up the same player in the same division. They're going to have to. They should have went out and got Amari Cooper. But they didn't know this was going to happen. They didn't know that they were going to have two stars wide receivers get hurt in the same game. I mean, that's basically, what just happened right now, man. And boy, when you watch Baker Mayfield, he's had a good season. But then, that was the first game I've watched Baker Mayfield, where I'm kind of watching the game, where I'm watching all of it. 'Cause sometimes I'll watch him on Red Zone and you'll see they'll cut in the red zone and you'll go Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you'll see Baker do his thing. Dude, I've watched Baker Mayfield in so many Cleveland Browns games. And last night at that game, you see Baker Mayfield pop his head up again and you realize why he was let go of the Browns or traded by the Browns. He makes knucklehead decisions. This dude will throw in triple coverage. I don't know what these guys think they are. It's look, stop. I don't care if you're Johnny Unitas. Stop throwing in double, triple coverage. And I know they go, well, it's what you get in NFL. I don't know. We'll make a better decision, man. That was a terrible decision, some of these decisions this guy makes. I mean, they truly lost that game last night because of the carelessness and the interceptions that he threw. I mean, you could watch the momentum change right off of that, where these guys go, oh, we just did 2 turnovers. They score off the turnovers or they get points off the turnovers. And then you go, what are we supposed to do now? I mean, it's dude, you can't turn the ball over as much as you can't do 2 interceptions in the first half like that. I'm pretty sure that was the first half. You can't do that at all. But whatever, man. I want to talk waiver wire picks for the people out there who do fantasy. I guess Jennings is the number 1 waiver wire pick if he's still out there for San Francisco since, Debo's got pneumonia and then whatever. And then Ayuk just had a freaking ACL, MCL freaking tear. So they're saying go out and get that Jennings guy. I think that's the move. They're saying the number 2 is Tua on Fantasy Pros is to go out and get Tua. I ain't running out and getting no Tua. And then, dude, they're saying number 3 is Ricky Pearsall. The guy that got shot in that town of San Francisco. He got robbed. Remember, dude, that's how bad San Francisco is that their star rookie first-rounder wide receivers are just shopping in their town like, I'm in a major city, and I got money now, and I'm a hotshot here. And then he gets shot in the chest there. Somebody tried to kill him. You don't shoot anybody in the chest and you expect them to, you want them to live. I mean, you're shooting somebody in the chest. That's kind of like, I want you dead. And Ricky Pearsall, he's the number 3. This Warren running back for Pittsburgh, they're saying him. And dude, talking about Pittsburgh also, they were talking like Russell Wilson did such a great job in that game. It still looked sloppy, and he still looked not that great. And Russell Wilson is going to get exposed, and Russell Wilson is a bum still. Believe those words. Do not go running at Russell Wilson. I don't care how bad of a quarterback situation you're in. Go get Drake May. Go, if you got a quarterback right now, hell, even go get, go get the backup quarterback for Atlanta. Whatever his name is, the rookie that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. Who knows? Maybe Cousin gets hurt and you got that freaking Penix. I'm telling you, Penix, for some reason I have a feeling all year Penix is going to be playing. I feel like Cousins is going to go down. And honestly, Cousins ain't even playing that great, at all either. And then, so they're saying, these are the players. 5th waiver is Otan, whatever that guy's name is. Algier or whatever the hell his name is. Dobbs or Dubs or whatever his name is. Aaron Rodgers, he ain't going to be on the waiver wire. Hunter Henry, he ain't going to be on the waiver wire. This Coleman wide receiver, the 2 people that I'm zeroing in on right now in competitive leagues to pick off the waiver wire is Coleman and Tillman. and obviously Jennings. You know, like if I was guessing, the guys you go after is wide receiver Jennings, wide receiver Coleman. I think Coleman might, the rookie out of Buffalo, I think he might pop his head up right now just because that they have Amari Cooper there. And now the heat is off. Maybe this guy's just like a natural number 2 that eats off in number 2 numbers. And, you know, where he turns into like really good because it's like, look, I'm not a number 1. They're the number 1 D-backs on me and they're focusing on me. But now that I got Amari Cooper here, they got to worry about him. And it's Coleman. And I tell you what, I hate to say it, but that Cleveland Browns wide receiver that's like 6'3" Tillman, big boy, I'm telling you, he's going to be the guy. Guys, listen, that's all I got. Hope everything's good, man. Get out there, grab your girl's ass, okay? Squeeze that bitch. All right, put those titty nipples in your mouth and tell her, listen, get your ass up in that bed. All right, guys, Eric Pennell Comedy on most platforms, Bustin' Balls podcast on most platforms. If you like it, share it. If you don't, get the fuck out of here. Don't need you at all, okay? First of all, if you don't like my podcast, you're probably a bitch, all right? And we don't have bitches listening to this. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Let's